Welcome to Up to the Minute. It's a Friday. Did you think you'd ever get here? Friday is today. 3-day weekend on tap. We've got a great half hour to kick off your weekend. We've got your HCC news and information and some special guests coming up. But one guy who always joins us on Fridays, Frank Cooper's in the house. Good morning, Frank.
Morning, Todd. I just want to let you know that hopefully it's not a conflict of interest. I got a second job as a fortune teller. So my new number is 1-800 Franklin.
All Frank.
Because I got one half of the finals representation, NBA finals, with the Suns winning earlier this week. When the Bucks close out tomorrow night, I will be 100% money back guarantee if I get wrong, future clients. But your boy's here, man. Your boy's here.
Nothing like gloating to kick off a Friday morning, but good job, Frank. You hit the nail on the head with your picks for the NBA champ. But, I seem to remember some caveats because you were always throwing in there. But, the Lakers have LeBron and this, that, and the other. And
the only caveat I did have when Chris Paul got hurt in Game 2, I was kind of nervous because I didn't know the severity of the shoulder injury.
Yeah,
said, he doesn't come back, Lakers gonna win that series. But he came back. He played the fourth quarters in 4, 5, and 6, and everything was right with the Franklin betting world. So
yeah, well, if he could have done that with the Rockets a few years ago, we would have been a whole different world now. All right, Frank, let's remind people about our social media.
Absolutely, man. Our show is on 5 days a week. You can watch a multitude of various ways. So we're on YouTube. Hit the notification bell for the Houston Community College HCC Up to the Minutes for campus interviews, what's going on around the HCC universe. We're also on social media. So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You want it, we got it on all of our multiple platforms. Let's grow the show.
And, we're live streaming nowadays on Facebook Live and also YouTube. So you can watch us there. And starting on the 12th of this month, we'll be rebroadcasting the show on HCCTV at noon and at 6 p.m. All right, let's get into the show. We've got a couple of special guests. Walter Matt Adams is with our industrial electrical program. He's an instructor there. Good morning, Matt. How are you?
Thanks for having me, Todd.
Yeah, well, we're going to be talking about smart homes. Everybody wants them. How do you get them? We can train you for them. So stick around for that, Matt. We'll talk about smart homes and what we're doing to train the next generation of workers. All right, we're going to kick things off with Michael Robinson. He is the Associate Creative Director with Houston Cinema Arts Society, and he's also our Film Friday guest. Good morning, Michael. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to talk about CineSpace competition. What can you tell us about that?
So CineSpace is a competition that we host with NASA every year. We basically challenge filmmakers from across the globe to basically make films of 10 minutes or less in length using at least 10% of archival material. So really getting creative into going through all this public access footage that NASA's collected for over 50 years to really make documentaries, narratives, experimental films, and really get creative.
Can you use some of the most up-to-date stuff that NASA's released? I know there's a lot of stuff from the Mars mission that's going on right now. Can you use just anything that's available?
Oh, absolutely. NASA updates it every day. So there's new 4K imagery that they're adding in right now. They have, the amount of footage. Just visual footage. You can also use audio. It's updating every day. You could just check out pretty much, every week to just kind of see what else is being added.
And there's also some cash prizes for these submissions, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So how we structure it is we will basically review all of the films that come in, and from that form the finalists. And the finalists screen at the annual Houston Cinema Arts Festival. We have 3 top prizes, the first, second, and third, as well as 2 special category prizes, and they total $26,000.
Oh, that's cool.
And if you win, a top prize, first, second, or third place, you can also win a special category prize. So we've had filmmakers in the past win up to $14,000.
Oh, that's great. That goes a long ways these days. Let me ask you this. You've also got a very impressive judge that's on your panel.
Oh, absolutely. We're lucky enough to have Richard Linklater. Personally watched, every finalist. He's really enthused. He's been at it, I think, since the beginning. And so this is a special love for him. He has a new film, coming up called Apollo 10.5. He grew up in Houston, so it's a great, a love letter to space fans and, Houston fans alike to have, such a prolific filmmaker involved.
I don't know if you've seen some of the things online they've had a few things released online about that film, and it looks fascinating. It kind of takes you back to Houston of yesteryear.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I mean, it really, and what a great tribute to, growing up in the space age, really, looking at, what it's like to be in Houston, when NASA wasn't the big thing, where it was just kind of, you moved here for work and, basically right when the excitement was reaching a peak.
When will the winners be announced? And are you guys going to have a screening for all the films?
Absolutely. So we announced the finalists along with the lineup at the festival, which is mid-October. And then we screen the finalists during our Houston Cinema Arts Festival, which is taking place November 11th through 22nd this year. And that will be a public screening where we ask the winners to come down. We'll have an award ceremony. And then the finalists also have the opportunity to screen all across the globe, basically. So we have a touring program in Mexico where the films screen. We just did a screening at Buffalo Bayou. So these films get a lot of views. They are basically, once you're part of CineSpace, we want to amplify that work. We want these filmmakers to be seen, to be engaged, be part of the family.
And so this is really open. Even though the CineSpace competition is based in Houston, you guys, I imagine, get entries from all over the world.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have entries from, winners have been from like Russia, France. We've got, some from Middle East, from Iraq, from Turkey, from Qatar. I mean, we've really, it really branches, a lot of areas, and really shows just the love that people have for space and NASA. It's really amazing.
Where can you go to get more information on this? And some of the films, now, is it, when you have the festival that's coming up in the fall, is it going to be live in person? Or some elements online? Some of them are held live. How does that work?
So some elements will be online and some will be in person. CineSpace, we're going to bring back in person, but they will be able to rent online. And then usually after the festival, all films are able to be viewed online afterwards. If you want to go to cinespace.org, you can see all of the previous finalists, and you can see the rules for submissions for this year. And to learn more, about the general festival, you can go to cinemahtx.org. And they'll also lead you to cinespace.org.
Okay, we've had 2 links we're going to give you, folks. If you didn't catch those, I'm going to put them in the social media post for the show. After the show, you can go check out the links. cinemahtx.org will tell you more about the Houston Cinema Arts Society, and cinespace.org will tell you more about this competition. Michael Robinson, Associate Creative Director, thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, we look forward to seeing these films. Take care.
Absolutely, you as well.
All right, we're going to move on. We're talking smart homes. This is exciting because we live in Houston, Texas. A lot of people like to call us the air conditioning capital of the world. I'll buy that if you ask me. But Matt, I want to ask you, Matt Adams has joined us. He's our industrial electrical program instructor. Matt, I imagine now, everyone wants a smart home where you can just tell your thermostat to turn on and that happens. Is that what where we're going with teaching now in your program?
Well, and that's where we're getting to. I mean, and you have to keep in mind the things that you have seen out there. Think about that like Gen 1. So, you ask your Google box, your Alexa, hey, Alexa, do this, or Alexa, add up that, or whatever, turn on this. Think about that like first generation for the average person. And I've seen like the high tech stuff for homes. It's insane. And one of the things for the future that we're looking at is we're less like a home and more like a machine, if you want to think about it, as everything becomes interconnected.
Right.
And so that's where we're going. And that's the direction our program's going in. Is traditionally when electricity really got kicked off in 1893 at the Chicago World Fair. You've heard that. If you haven't heard, it's called the War of the Currents. And so it was a fight between Edison and Tesla, and Tesla won. And so now we're on an AC alternating power. Well, one of the things is it's never really ended. It's constantly going back and forth because we get benefits out of the direct current because we get control, the ability to control things. And so that's what we're trying to integrate.
Are smart homes, because you can control them so precisely, are they more energy efficient? They offer more control?
Oh, definitely. Because granted, thinking about like, you may not realize this, but probably your appliances, if you check your refrigerator, you might even have an Ethernet connection on it. So as things become interconnected, we can watch how we're using power. We can monitor those things and see how things are efficient. It also makes it easier when something breaks. You can tell, oh, something's not working the way it's supposed to. Yeah. But no, we totally will be getting efficiency because you can say, hey, dim stuff, turn stuff down, especially like if you have children, or people in your house that like to leave things on, where you can have it set on timers. It just automatically, if it hadn't been used in 15 minutes, it goes off. So things like that.
Are our students learning to go into homes and upgrade them to smart homes? Are they learning to put the fiber down and connect it? What exactly? I imagine it sounds like a pretty intense task to do that. Is that what we're teaching our students? That's
the direction we're going in, and it's a multi-year process. 2 years ago, we got our associate degree pushed through, and so what we've been doing, and as program coordinator, my job is to look 5 years in the future as to where we need to be going for what industry needs, and we're getting there. So we have 2 classes. In fact, we're the only community college in the state of Texas that offers classes in smart home and smart building technology. But we're trying to grow those and get those more. I've got a great advisory board that's giving me a lot of input. And you hear that word a lot thrown around, automation. That's kind of what we're talking about too, where I can, all in one control my thermostat, my refrigerator, my lights, the works. And so trying to teach them the integration. And the great thing about being an instructor, it's like being the Wizard of Oz. You get to pull back the curtain and see how everything's put together.
I would imagine this integration also goes into entertainment sound system, your audio visual controls as well, because if you want that, you want it all. You don't want, I remember the days of 20, maybe 15, 20 years ago where you had 6 remote controls to control your cable, your DVD player, everything else. Now you just want one that's simple.
Exactly. I mean, and one of my advisory boards, that's one of the things they do is they integrate everything into one app. You might have, if you have a smart thermostat, it looks like a square box, kind of like the self-checkout at the grocery store. It's called an HMI. You can go in there and you can control different things. I was at one of the dealerships for Crestron, which Crestron we use at school for our audio video, raising and lowering the projectors and things like that. And the lady at the dealership pressed a button and the lights went off, the shades came down, the thermostat changed. I mean, it changed the whole environment of the whole room with one button. And it's a lot of, I won't call it programming, but settings and stuff. And that's kind of where we're going.
With going in this direction, I imagine it does open up another can of worms. Are there cybersecurity concerns and safety concerns when you're wiring the whole house like this?
Oh, for sure. If you heard recently in the news, I'm not exactly sure, it's been the last 6 months, a year, you heard about people trying to get people's Amazon account numbers and passwords through Ring doorbells. And so that was one thing. But as you're tying things into your home network, how you segment these things to protect your home brain. Because before it's just been, we've just had some computer. Well, now it's you're integrating everything else into your home computer. So it's getting a lot more tricky, and that will be things to look at is how we can protect all of our devices.
Is there a new term for these technicians, technologist? Is that what they're being called now? And how long is the program that you guys offer?
Well, and that's one of the things we're trying to figure out, because traditionally we are a hands-on, I won't call us low tech because it really does a disservice to our different trades in the electrical field, because we do some high tech stuff. but we're not overly we're not what you think about as far as computer networking people. But as that's being thrust upon us and we're having to figure these things out, we're having to learn these skills, and students are having to learn these skills as they go out into the world. The great thing about it is right now we currently have short certificates, like 6 classes, and where the capstone is the smart technology class, but then also those are all integrated into our associate degree if they want to kind of get them all. Because with the electrical trade, there's still about 14 different directions you can go in this. So the more you can learn for the future, the better it is.
You know, it seems like about 10 years ago, there was an explosion of companies that were these audio visual services that would come wire your home to where your sound could be all throughout your house, your TVs could be connected. Now it seems like if those companies want to survive, they're going to need to integrate some of these services that electricians would provide. Do you see the industry where your guys are kind of doing it all in one?
It's actually interesting you bring that up, because in 2019, Texas tried to pass a law to where there's a line, and on one side was the electricians trying to say, it's called low voltage. So low voltage is traditionally, it's not a permanent trade. It's just, you could do it. Anybody could do it. But the problem is there's still safety concerns because it's electricity. On the other side has been like computer networking type people. So it didn't go anywhere, but there's a lot of discussion as to who's going to occupy this realm for the future. But even my advisory board people, they tell me, look, I need an electrician with networking experience. So it is really kind of a new evolution of us. So we're needing smarter people that are good with technology, good with computers, and can think around some hardware and software problems.
I imagine if, as the job descriptions are changing a bit, is the pay changing as well? I mean, are these guys and women making some great money?
Oh, I mean, when you look at your average, let's say residential apprentice coming out of school, they can make $15 an hour. Your person going into like a solar renewable, maybe as much as 18 after school. But I mean, some of these jobs, like if you get what's called an FSOT, which is a fiber optic certification that we're going to be offering probably in 2022, you can come out making $30 to $35 an hour.
Wow.
Just for pulling and what they call terminating, but putting ends on fiber optics. Cat 5, Cat 6 network cable, that can pay in the mid to almost high 20s, but it's a lot of cable pulling.
Yeah, incredible. Matt Adams, the Industrial Electrical Program Instructor, and he's with the Architectural Design and Construction Center of Excellence here at HCC. Thanks for joining us today, Matt.
Thanks for having me today, Todd.
And if you're interested in the program, it's a hot one. You may want to get out there. We're going to go ahead and put the link to the program in the social media post for this show. All right, moving on to our champion of the NBA Pick'em. If you would have listened to Frank earlier in the year when he picked his teams that were going to make it to the championship, you know, he was dead on. But he would be the first to tell you he's a very humble guy.
Very humble, man. I care about the HCC universe. I'm trying to steer you out to the light, man. Follow me. I will take you home.
He will take you home. All right, Frank. We've got some news and announcements. Community learning, that's happening throughout July.
As we enter a new month, we want to remind our viewers for a new round of community learning programs approaching. Coming up soon are the Microsoft OneDrive for Business Level 100. That's noon to 1:30, Friday, July 9th. We also have a Gardening Small Spaces for vegetables. So that's from 10 to 11:30 a.m. on Mondays, July 12th. Registration is below. For more information, go to hccs.edu/community-learning.
Okay, next Thursday, July 15th, or I should say 2 weeks from yesterday, HCC drama majors will be featured in a YouTube series of short plays to challenge them in their acting techniques. It's the Summer Shorts Drama Practicum. No registrations required, and we'll put a link in our social media post. And if you are going to sign up for Coleman College of Health Sciences, Keep in mind, the deadline has officially been extended for HCC health students. So now is the time to register. You still have time to do so. This summer, face-to-face classes are kicking off. We'll have way more in the fall. Smaller classes and social distancing are still intact, so you'll want to sign up early. Go to hccs.edu/health. We will have that link in the social media post. And if you need a new skill set, we're here for you, Frank.
The HCC is a part of the Texas Reskilling Grant Program dedicated to providing support to displaced Texas workers impacted by COVID who need to learn or further develop skills to return to the workforce. To qualify, go to hccs.edu/Texas-reskilling.
Okay, earn your degree for free. That's exactly right, for free. If your federal and state grants, along with your scholarships, don't cover everything you need for an eligible HCC degree or certificate, Eagle Promise dollars will. You have to apply. You have to qualify. Apply today, though. Get some of these funds while they're here. hccs.edu/free degree. We want to pay for it all if you qualify. And keep in mind, we won't be here Monday. We'll be around, but we won't be doing a show because HCC is off. We want to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July weekend. It's supposed to rain throughout the weekend. That's terrible, but hey, you know, as long as it doesn't flood, we'll be okay. Look for the fireworks, at least on TV this year, and they're not holding fireworks. At least the city is not asking for people to come down to Eleanor Tinsley Park, but it will be on TV this year. And we'll return to HCC on Tuesday. Our classes will resume, campuses will reopen on Tuesday, and we'll have a show of Up to the Minute. Fall enrollment, we want to remind everyone, Frank, that if you want to enroll for the fall, there are 5 ways you can take your classes this fall and for the last part of the summer.
Absolutely. So we have 5 modalities. We have online anytime, online on the schedule, hybrid labs, hybrid course, in-person classes as well. So remember, these new face-to-face classes have already begun this summer and will continue into the fall. So again, if you have a certain class that you're trying to get, try to get it right now, register right now, because it's going to be smaller classes for social distancing. So it'll be less slots to go around, okay? Especially if you're graduating next May or this December. So for more information about that and to register, go to hccs.edu/now.
You know, Frank, we want to remind everyone that, we were here throughout the whole shutdown, and it seemed like a long time. It's been 16 months since we've been back in 3100 Main as a team, as HCCTV. Our campuses have reopened for Houston Community College. The classes are being held on campus now, in-person classes for many of them, more opening up in the fall. We're also going to be heading back to the 3100 Main district offices in the near future. The offices will open on Tuesday, July 6th, for some staff to start migrating back. If you are working at 3100, you'll need to speak with your supervisor to determine your schedule and how you'll be working there. We know several of us will be heading back to the HCC studios, and we've been there actually for the past few months. Several people have been there almost every day, and a few of us will be broadcasting live from HCC TV starting the week of July the 12th. So when that happens, you'll see things will look different on the show. We'll still be on at 10 a.m. every morning on Facebook and YouTube live. Then the show will be rebroadcast on HCC TV starting July 12th at noon and at 6 p.m. So if you didn't catch us online, you can catch us on the cable channel. Okay, Frank, let's talk a bit about your gloating sports. You know who could be in the NBA Finals. You picked them. Who are you going to go with now for the championship?
Suns winning it all.
Suns winning it all, huh?
Absolutely. And I think with the teams remaining, the 3 teams that are remaining, the Suns are the most complete team out there. Chris Paul is healthy. He showed that in Game 6 against the Clippers, dropping 41 points. DeAndre Ayton's a young star coming around at the center position. And Booker. Devin Booker he has Kobe-like skills. He's going to be one of the guys who's going to be around for the next 15 years, most of the time All-Star, most of the time MVP. This NBA postseason, you really saw a lot of influx of young talent. Luka Doncic, DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, he's a two-time MVP. He's only 26 years old. Joel Embiid. I think every like 10 to 12 years, there's a new phase of guys and new teams who are going to be threats for the next decade or so. And I think the Suns, the Sixers, the Bucks, if currently constructed, are going to be running for the long haul. Look at today's stars. LeBron's 36, Damon's 33. I think Harden's 32, Durant's 33. So those guys are going to be phased out in the next 3 or 4 years. You about to say a new influx of young talent.
So a lot of people in Houston care about the Rockets. For some reason, they didn't get the number 1 pick, didn't win that, but they've got the number 2, and they've got, is it 1 or 2 other picks in the first round?
I know the number 2 pick. They might have a pick later on in the draft, but having number 2 is not bad, because the way I see it, you're going to get one of the 2 better prospects in this draft, either Cade Cunningham or Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs is a 6'5" point guard who has guard skills, who can shoot the basketball, can shoot. He has I don't know what his makeup is going to be in the NBA, but as far as his skill sets, he has the makers to be the number 1 star for Houston for a long time. Or I've heard rumors that the Pistons might trade that number 1 pick, for a veteran star. So Cade could slide the 2. It just depends on who has the number 1 pick come this month. So the Rockets are in a good place. They have Christian Wood. They have, one of their players, I can't remember his name. He made 2nd all-rookie team. So they have young pieces, proven pieces, but young pieces that they can grow together and see what happens for the future.
And speaking of the future is now for the Houston Astros. They are still doing pretty well. Still, even they lost a few games, didn't get to encompass that streak of winning 12 games or more to set a team record. But they're still looking good. You think they're going to make it to the World Series this year?
If they have to do one or two things, they have to make sure their bullpen stays intact, because their pitching has been great. The back half of the bullpen, these are the dog days of summer. A lot of times in dog days of summer, injuries happen. Guy loses up his ass, fatigue. So you got to be able, your starters have got to be able to go long into games to keep that bullpen fresh. And with them being, a favorite, they're going to be buyers in the trade deadline. So hopefully we can add, more arms to that bullpen. But I know, look, a couple years ago when we lost to the Nationals, what was the reason? Our bullpen.
They didn't have the pitching.
Our pitching, we gave up late runs in that game, and it cost us. So,
and arguably, we had bigger names back in those days as well playing the Nationals, bigger names on the team who are no longer here, and I might say who aren't doing that well with their new teams, respectively. So, Frank, you got a long 3-day weekend ahead. You'll be back next week. Tell everybody what we've got coming up on Tuesday.
Absolutely. So, like Ty said, we're off Monday. But for Tuesday, for our Tasty Tuesdays, we will welcome another Houston culinary institution, Tony Mandola's Gulf Coast Seafood. That should be great. Looking forward to that. And Sharday Campbell's will be joining us talking about HCC student enrollment. She's from the student enrollment department, and she is a student recruiter. But we'll also have a student recruiter here, and they'll be talking about HCC's participation in the upcoming Wesley Square Community Day that happens in a couple of weeks. So we'll be back on Tuesday. Enjoy the 3-day weekend. Frank, you're back next week? All right, Frank, we'll be back next week. So will we. We'll see you Tuesday live, 10 a.m. right here for Up to the Minute.